HR system is so big that you don't know where to turn. Like for myself, I called the SMP and they asked me where the guy lives. I said he probably in Montreal area. So he asked me to call the police in Montreal.
Right.
I called
you end up in the labyrinth.
Exactly. So yeah. I called the police in Montreal and they're like, oh, that's above. That's above us. So you have to call SMP. So you keep going forth. I mean, back and forth, and most people just give up. But also people are afraid of going through that process, because if you brought someone to the court, that means you have to testify, and you have to testify. You have to bring all those memories of what you went through. And sometimes people just say, you know what? So that's why we say sometimes in the African community, you know, God will punish him for us. You just, but our wish is really to have the Canadian government to take this issue seriously, because it's not just us survivors. So can you imagine if you live in a Gatineau and you have a neighbor that probably killed 20 people in Rwanda? Do you want to have that person as a neighbor? I don't think so. So it's not only for the survivors, but it's a public safety issue as well.
Pascal Kanyamera, a lot more to talk about here, but thank you very much for coming in and sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Pascal Kanyamera, is the president of the Humura Association, a group of survivors of the Rwandan genocide. Listening to All in a Day here on CBC Radio 191.5 in Ottawa, Gatineau. If you're a fan of the Ottawa Red Blacks, you know the name Dominique Grimes. The All-Star receiver has just returned to Red Blacks after spending several seasons with the BC Lions. His final season with the Red Blacks, Dominique led the team in receptions and receiving yards and receiving touchdowns. And while you can expect Dominique to make waves on the field, he's also making some interesting moves off the field. This week, he was one of 8 CFL players to receive a full scholarship to attain a firefighting certification. Dominique joins me now on the phone to talk about it. Hi there.
Hey, how you doing today?
I'm
Thanks
fine.
for having me.
Congratulations.
Oh man, thank you. Such a amazing moment for me and my family, and you know, life after football. You know, you want to have a plan and idea of where you're headed. So just to know I'm headed in something that I love and I have a passion for is amazing.
Did you always want to be a firefighter? Like, was this always a dream?
I would think this is like just this past few years, like me just being a person that I want to be of service to people. I want to be able to give back to my community. I want to be able to be in my community and, you know, give people that need helping hands those helping hands, and, you know, do everything I can within my community. And I love it because Ottawa's my community now, and you know, I'm looking forward to what the future has to hold after football.
I'm trying to figure out when this firefighting career is going to take off, though, Dominique, because you just signed into your deal with the Red Blacks. When are you going to be doing this firefighting?
Oh, it'll be a while from now, but it's just something I want to be able to, you know, once my time is done with football, I can be able to transition to a firefighter career. So it's no time soon, I can tell you that.
It's not like you're going to be playing and then running off to wait a sec, a fire's coming around the corner. We need Dominique. He jumps on the truck. Where are you going to be training then for firefighting?
So with the program, you have a chance to complete an online portion of the academy, and then once you complete the online portion, you're able to go for a 2.5 week training course in Texas, where you're able to be full hands-on. You're able to experience what it takes to be a firefighter. You go through the training program, and you're able to just see everything that goes on that entails in being a firefighter. So this is something I like be handling throughout the season. I'll be doing like classes online, but then once the season's finished, from an amazing season this year we're going to have, I'll be doing training program.
Can I ask, like, there wasn't any part of you that wanted something a little less physically taxing? You already put your body through the ringer all the time, Dominique. You didn't want to do something that was going to, like, allow you to just relax for a while?
No, I pride myself on staying in shape. So I mean, this is a great career that I can stay in shape, stay fit. You want to be strong, a strong person in your community. So I got to make sure I'm strong at all times. So I mean, it's a perfect way to keep you in shape.
What do you think is going to be your biggest challenge as a firefighter? Like, when you look what that job description actually entails, what's the part that's going to be the biggest challenge to Dominique?
That's a great question. I feel like it's when I totally embrace that journey of being a firefighter, I feel like everything is going to be a challenge because everything's going to be new to you. But I know myself, I love challenges. So as long as I attack it like I attack the football field, I know great things are happening. And I'll be able to do great things in my community.
There's no fear of heights, of ladders, anything like that that's going to get in your way?
None at all.
I'm trying to think of the only things. I'm trying to compare firefighting to football. Like, what would be the biggest leap in terms of what you'd have to be able to do? So turning back to football then, before we let you go, you're back with the Red Blacks. We've had a spotty few seasons here in terms of not exactly landing in the Grey Cup zone. How confident are you things are going to turn around this year?
I'm very confident. I feel like this entails like being a firefighter. I'm jumping into the fire. Being an Ottawa Red Black again. And the optimism people have. So I'm very confident. I know we got some pieces on our team that's going to, help big time and help get us wins and, protect our home field. And, it's just going to be a different season. It's the 10th anniversary this year. And, I have a great feeling about this team. And, everybody I've talked to, they're super excited. They're ready to get to work. And, they're ready to, I wouldn't say make the naysayers quiet, but we're just ready to just put our head down to work.
They're gonna figure out a way of working that whole jump into the fire thing into the advertising campaign. I'm waiting for it now. Dominique, thanks so much for being with us today. Looking forward to talking again. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate you guys.
That's Dominique Grimes, an all-star wide receiver, returning to the Red Blacks for the upcoming CFL season. Dominique is also one of several CFL players awarded a full scholarship to complete firefighter certification training. Hempstead back in, taking a look at the roads.
Well, it's quite busy on the 417. There's collisions as well. Looking at one here on the eastbound 417, about halfway between Parkdale and Bronson. There's another one on Island Park Drive, affecting northbound Island Park Drive. It's just sort of south of Byron. The westbound 417 is heavy downtown from the Rideau River right to about Museum of Nature, and then a second time from Island Park Drive right out to the far side of Woodruff. Eastbound 417 is heavy from just before Maitland right into about Rochester, and then beyond that it's fine. Eastbound 174 busy at times at the Montreal Road. Looks like there's an earlier collision on Belfast Road just south of the 417, south between Tremblay and Terminal, so in and around the shopping center there, train yards. Hunt Club Road backed up westbound at Riverside, westbound at Woodruff, and eastbound at Prince of Wales. Bridges between Ottawa and Gatineau, not too bad. The Chaudière Bridge is busy going over to downtown Hull from downtown Ottawa. There's a collision to warn you about on northbound Nicholas, just right alongside the University of Ottawa, approaching Laurier. Backed up northbound on Island Park Drive from Richmond Road to the Champlain Bridge, and on the eastbound Kissimmee-Nican from Westboro all the way to the Champlain Bridge. I'm back with more right after Trevor's newscast.
Thanks very much, Doug. Listening to All in a Day here on CBC Radio 1, 91.5 in Ottawa. It's 4:30.
This is CBC News. Good afternoon. It's 4 degrees and lightly raining in parts of Ottawa. I'm Trevor Pritchard. Pritchard with the latest from the CBC Ottawa newsroom. The owner of the company at the center of an explosion that killed 6 people 2 years ago will not serve any time in jail. Eastway tank pump and meter owner Neil Green pleaded guilty today to one charge, failing to ensure diesel fuel used for the wet testing of trucks wasn't contaminated with gasoline or flammable liquids. His company pleaded guilty to that charge and for not providing proper instruction and supervision to workers on how to handle and store fuel safely. 5 people were killed in the January 2022 explosion, while a 6th died in hospital the next day. Justice Mitch Hoffman has just imposed the sentence that was agreed upon by both sides. He fined Green $80,000 plus a 25% victim surcharge and fined the company $600,000 plus that same surcharge. Hoffman noted that no penalty can bring back the victims, but he took into account that Eastway had no Ontario health and safety convictions and that Green showed a high degree of remorse. The City of Ottawa has received its share of a provincial fund designed to address the province's housing. Doug Ford was in the city today to announce that Ottawa would get $37.5 million from the Building Faster Fund. The fund rewards municipalities that meet housing targets assigned by the province. Mayor Mark Sutcliffe says when it comes to the crisis, both the city and the Ford government are on the same page.
We all share the same goal. That is to build more housing and to build it as quickly as possible, to keep the dream of home ownership alive for young families. So I'm very proud to see that Ottawa met the provincial threshold for funding under the Building Faster Fund, and I'm very happy to receive this giant check.
Ottawa's share of the funding was not set in stone, however. Last year, the city looked like it would fall short of meeting the building targets to qualify for money, but a late surge got them over the line. Meanwhile, Doug Ford is the latest premier to pen a letter to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to request a First Minister's meeting on the carbon tax. Ford spoke about that request at this morning's news conference.
Well, we want to address the increase, the 23% increase on the carbon tax, and they have to put it on hold. I've been in constant communication on a daily basis with a number of premiers. We aren't happy about it, to say the least, but he needs to sit down with us.
The Premier of Newfoundland and Labrador has also asked for a meeting, saying provinces should be allowed to opt out of the tax. On April 1st, scheduled increase to the carbon price added 3.3 cents to the price at the gas pumps. Quarterly rebates to help offset costs will also increase. Trudeau has said he's open to premiers pitching their own ideas, but says any proposal must meet federal requirements on lowering greenhouse gas emissions. A man who drove vulnerable and special needs students to an Ottawa school is facing 3 sex-related offenses. Mohammed El Barkouki was charged today with sexual assault, sexual interference, and invitation to sexual touching. Ottawa police say the 52-year-old was working as a student transport driver for a Vanier area high school. They allege that on February 23rd, he locked his vehicle's doors with one student still inside. He then drove to a different school parking area and allegedly forced the student to perform a sexual act. Police say the student went straight to a teacher and told them what happened. The allegations against Al Barkouki have not yet been proven in court. With Monday's solar eclipse fast approaching, Ottawans are scrambling to find proper eclipse glasses. They're being urged to be cautious, however. The glasses are necessary to safely view the sun, and while many places have run out, they are for sale online. Dr. Bahari Bonsack is past president of the Canadian Association of Optometrists. He says there are some clever fakes out there, and people need to make sure they're getting the right thing.
They have to have the ISO number. They have to have the ISO logo. They also have to have the name and actual address of the manufacturer. Okay, so you should see a street name with postal code and everything, the manufacturer on the side of the arm of your eclipse glasses. If it's not there, it doesn't meet the standard and you can't trust it.
Bonsack says the glasses should also have the name and place of the organization that tested them too. He doesn't advise buying from online marketplaces and says the American Astronomical Society has a list of recommended places to purchase them. There are signs more people in Ontario are placing bets on the regulated gambling market 2 years after its launch. That's according to a study commissioned by the Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario. It says 86% of respondents to an Ipsos survey who gambled online in the past 3 months used regulated sites. That's slightly higher than last year, but Ipsos also says about 1 in 5 still used illicit sites, and some say they only gamble that way. The study also noted that respondents named over 350 unregulated gambling websites. Researchers in BC say when it comes to long COVID, there are gaps in the system. A new report out of Simon Fraser University says at least 1 in 9 people who've had a COVID-19 infection have also had long COVID symptoms. Rafferty Baker explains.
From talking to patients, we've heard a lot, especially about brain fog and fatigue and cardiovascular impacts.
Kaylee Byers is an assistant professor at SFU's Health Sciences faculty and the report's lead researcher. She says a big part of the new report on so-called long haulers is simply raising awareness of how serious long COVID can be. Then Byers says there are the gaps in the system. Some physicians aren't able to recognize and diagnose the condition. Treatment is challenging to get right, and it's different for so many people. Byers says one big problem for long haulers is just getting reliable information.
We need a central repository of trusted information so that people can access it. Right now, many people are trying to do that deep dive themselves on Google, trying to wade through academic papers and articles. Well, how do you know what to trust?
Byers says a federal online portal people can use would be ideal. Rafferty Baker, CBC News, Vancouver.
And finally, it's going to be a few days longer before the scenic views behind Parliament Hill are once again accessible to the public. The pedestrian pathway at Centre Block was supposed to reopen today after being closed all winter, but that's now been pushed back to Tuesday. Services and Procurement Canada says the recent weather is to blame, and also says the stairway on Parliament Hill's western escarpment down to the Ottawa River will stay closed to October. That's because the National Capital Commission is carrying out rehabilitation work. And that is the latest from the CBC Newsroom. Here's Doug with a look at traffic.
Thank you, Trevor. Well, westbound 417 is heavy from the Rideau River right into western Centertown, kind of like almost to Bronson, I guess. Then a second time from Island Park Drive out to the far side of Woodruff. Eastbound 417 is heavy from just before Maitland into about Rochester. Beyond that, it's fine. The 174 is improving, but still busy as far as Blair, and then again busy going through Montreal Road. Out in Cumberland, not seeing any issues there in the single lane stretch of the eastbound 174. Heavy southbound on Riverside Drive from, well, just as you're approaching Smythe, and then heavy and slow all the way down to Bank Street, so all the way to Billings Bridge. Baseline a bit busy both directions at Fisher. Hunt Club Road backed up westbound at Riverside, and then westbound at Woodruff. Eastbound Hunt Club is back to the Prince of Wales. Further south, not seeing any issues down Barhaven, really out of the ordinary. The bridges between Ottawa and Gatineau seem okay. The Chaudière Bridge is busy heading to Hull. It's backed up approaching the Champlain Bridge, northbound at Island Park Drive, and eastbound on the Kitsippee Meekan coming through Westboro Beach. Earlier collision on Island Park Drive as well near Byron. Not sure if that's still the case, or looks like it's improved there.